Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to walk you through a really neat formative assessment tool known as Socrative. I utilize Socrative on a very regular basis with my 8th graders and my ninth graders. Typically, I will use Socrative 3 to 4 days a week, either as a bell ringer activity when the students are walking in, or as an exit slip towards the end of the class. And I find that the information that Socrative is able to give me as a teacher is very valuable with modifying instruction in terms of maybe noticing patterns and trends of content that the kids are understanding and concepts that the kids need to have some relearning and reteaching with. But anyway, to get started, if you type in www.socrative.com, as you can see up here in my URL on my address bar, that's going to bring you to the main web page. You're first going to want to create an account, so you're going to click on Get Account and get set up. However, after you've created your account, you're then going to go to Teacher Login. And once you click on Teacher Login, you're going to type in the login information that you had provided when you created your account. Oftentimes, if you just get out of Socrative and you don't log out, the next time you sign in, it will automatically bring you up to your Socrative account. And today I'm just going to really focus on the quiz option and not necessarily the space race or the exit ticket. I find that the quiz option has been really useful for me for formative assessments. Once you have used Socrative a few times and you've saved some of the quizzes that you've created, if you click on Quizzes, which is right up here on the tab, and you click on My Quizzes, you can see a whole list of the quizzes that you have created in the past. But let's just say for the sakes of this purposes, we want to create a new quiz. So I'm going to click on Create Quiz. I'm going to give my quiz a name. And as you can see down here, I have an option of choosing which format of question I want to ask my students. If I want to use multiple choice, if I want to use true or false, if I want to do short answer. And for the sake of this example, I'm going to start out with multiple choice. I typically stay with multiple choice and true and false. It's just been the easiest way for me to use Socrative as a formative assessment tool. This doesn't take real long. Usually we try to strive for 5 to 7 minutes worth of class time using Socrative, and I find that multiple choice and true and false helps streamline the process. Next, you can see here, I'm going to type in the question that I want to ask my students. Number 1 is referring to, this will be the first question that kids see. In this box right here, I'm going to type in the question that I want to ask. And then you can see down here that I have my answer bank. Okay, and this is where I'm going to type in all of the possible answers that the students will see either on their Chromebook or on their digital device. And you don't have to use all of the possible answer choices. And let's see now. Now that I've got my answer possibilities written up, I am going to choose which one is correct. Okay. Sometimes you may ask a question where there might be more than one correct answer, and you can select the box here off to the right to indicate which questions or which answers are correct. Down below here, you will see that we have an explanation box, and this is where I can provide an explanation of why the correct answer is indeed the correct answer. And when the students walk through the Socrative quiz on their digital devices or on their Chromebooks, after they submit their answers to each of the questions, the explanation will come up on their digital device, which can often be handy, especially if the students take the time to read the explanation. It's just a great way to provide reinforcement and a relearning and a reteaching moment. Then, after I'm done with question 1, let's say I want to add another question. This time I'm going to click on true and false. I want to ask a true or false question. And let's say that my answer is false. Once again, here I'm going to choose if it's true, I would click true. If it's false, I would click false. Explanation, I can type in an explanation. I don't have to, but oftentimes students do find that it is helpful when they read why their answer was correct or why the answer that they had chosen was incorrect. And then once again, if I wanted to add another question, I can scroll on down and I can choose another multiple choice, or true and false, or short answer. But let's just say that for today, I'm just going to ask a 2-question Socrative. So I'm going to scroll right back up to the top, and it says save and exit. I'm going to click on save and exit. Now, my quiz has been saved. Now, if I want to administer the test to the kids, I'm going to go to quizzes. I'm going to go down to my quizzes, and I'm going to click on the Socrative tutorial. Click on this tab, and I'm going to click on launch, excuse me. I'm going to click on quiz, click on Socrative tutorial, and we have some different settings that you can take a look at, okay? Student-paced immediate feedback, which means that students are able to work through the quiz at their pace, and as soon as they answer a question, they get feedback right away if it's true, if it's right or wrong. Teacher pace, this is an option where the students would have to wait for me to advance to the next question. I typically stick with the student-paced immediate feedback. I find that that is the most useful way to go through that. And here's some additional settings. I typically just leave the settings as is. Then I'll click on start. And you'll notice that you have another screen that pops up right here, okay? When the students are taking the Socrative quiz, they will type in their on their digital device b.socrative.com, and they will be directed to a new screen that will ask them to put their name and the teacher room number. This number right up here is your room number, and this never changes. In fact, the last 3 years that I've done Socrative, my room number has stayed the same. Once they've entered their name and the room number, their names will appear on this screen right here, and you have a class list. And as they progress through each question, if they get the question right, for example, if they get question 1 right, it would light up as green for being correct. If they should get question 1 wrong, it would light up as red as being incorrect. And this table is eventually going to show you the percentage of kids who got question or who answered question number 1 correct, as well as same with question number 2. And that's just a great tool for you to see if students as a whole are not answering these questions correctly, that you may want to go and review these questions. Or if kids are answering these questions very well, then maybe you don't need to spend extra time reviewing these. If I wanted to take a look at the questions themselves, I would just simply click on this tab right here, and it would bring me up to that question. Okay, clicking on this tab right here would indicate to me how we did as a class, and if we had people who had signed in, it would give you a bar graph of the percentage of kids who answered A, B, C, and D, and this is kind of a great way to go through those questions as a reteaching and relearning opportunity. So hopefully that helps. That was just a quick tutorial of Socrative. Really, the best thing do with Socrative is just to kind of get in and play around with it, but hopefully this tutorial gave you kind of an understanding of what Socrative is, as well as how to navigate around in terms of creating a simple, basic quiz and gathering data and using that data for relearning and reteaching opportunities.